Hey folks, what's going on? Today I'd like to have a discussion about the world at large, and what makes the world a bad place. Because, recently I was listening to a discussion, a panel, and some very wise yogis and shaman or whatever were talking about perceptions. And in that discussion, they were talking about the fact that when one sees a problem in everyone else, then that person is crazy. And on some level, I could rationalize, with that understanding, because, I can. But when I think about it on a deeper level, the world at large, the stuff that people do, how does one deal in this world? And that's probably the better way to phrase the question that will start this discussion. How does one deal in the world? I asked you that in previous videos, right? How does one deal in the evil world? Okay? But the truth of the matter is the world is very evil. And, I don't necessarily believe, I find some truth in that statement about people being out of their mind when they find fault and see certain things in other people. But I have to, digress on that, because what I've come to understand is that if I'm not bothering you, and let's use that. If I'm not bothering, if I'm minding my business, and you come up to me and you assault me or you do something to me just simply because you feel like doing it or because you're having a bad day, then what kind of person are you? Are you a good person? Right? If I went to someone after that moment and I said, this guy's crazy, would I be right? Would I be correct? So I want you people to think about all of the times in your lives when someone stole something from you, right? Someone callously spoke to you or something, or treated you a certain way for no reason, and how you dealt with that really played into your inner strength. But what I'm really speaking on is the reality of that other person. The things that people do in this world that are unnecessary, the greed, all of this stuff, There are people who work jobs and stuff, and they put a lot of time on these jobs, and they don't get paid much because, for whatever reason, the person who's paying them, who owns that company or whatever that business, that person is greedy. And someone would say, well, no, how do you say that? Well, I come to that conclusion because I've seen many things, people. I've seen situations where company owners have literally, done shareholder things with their employees, right? And because of their big hearts, which is what we're speaking on, the character of these people, because of their huge generosities, someone was able to make more money or do something because they were willing to take less for themselves. So in that regard, I don't want to hear any excuses about why your profit margins need to go through the roof every year. However, you're not even paying your employees appropriately and, to meet the times. So things are going up, and inflation and all taxes and all of these things are going up, and you just don't want to pay these people because you want to have that fat profit margin. And so that makes you a greedy person, because really in this world, you can't do anything with that money but spend it, and then when you die, you definitely can't take it with you. And there's some other things that go on the other side. You guys, many of you are not going to be privy to these things, and so you don't know. But when you know certain things, you get it on a bigger level. You get the reality that you're in. It's really not real, you see? And so the greed, that is a characteristic that is not really likable by people who are not greedy, okay? There's a certain level of, honest earning or honest living, if you will. But when you just outright want to take everything and just, and don't want to even share the wealth, there's a problem with that, okay? And you'll pay for that one day. But right now, keep on. Now, I really though, I listened to this discussion, and I really have a great deal of respect for certain people in society, who have commanded these large groups of people and the spirituality and stuff, and I get all of that. And I appreciate, the things that they do for the world, right? The enlightenments that they help reach or teach about, But, one has to be realistic in this world. When I talk to you guys about bad people, I'm talking about the people who are willing to kill you, harm you, because I'm sure any of those people who spoke those words, if you know, who probably have security. Why do they have security? Right? Why do they have security? Because there are people who are disturbed, who are not mentally grounded properly, and who will harm them for no reason. And those people are not good. We don't have to put a label on what those people are, who they are, but we know that they're not good, right? And so this particular yogi was saying that, you know, that no one can be really good. And I get that. I get all of these concepts. I get them. But what I'm saying is that, you know, how does one deal in a world full of people who are just not good at all? Okay? So I go out and I replace all of the air caps on my car because someone said, hey, I need some air caps. And they decided, instead of just, you know, paying a couple of dollars for them, they decided to just go to my car and just take them off my car, right? That person is clearly not a good person. Would you do that? Right? So yeah, on some level, our assessments of how good we are or bad are based on actions and what other people do in the world, right? If I killed your children, would I be a good person? I wouldn't be, right? And you would never think that, would you? So I'm trying to show you guys that, you know, yeah, some of these things make sense, but when you look at the realistic world that you live in, you're locking your doors, right? You're having cybersecurity walls put up. You're doing all types of things because you're aware of the populace. You're aware of the demonic people who live about you, who would harm or take from you at the first opportunity. You see? That's what this is about. Yes, all of those people are bad, right? They're miserable. They're assholes. Yes. And where is the line drawn about where you can speak on these things and not? Now, I understand you don't hold on to certain things because they're not real anyway. And so I get all of, like I said, I get all of the concepts. But what I'm really saying is, just in this sense right now, what does one do? How does one see the world? If you come up to me at a baseball game because your team lost and you sock me in the face, what am I supposed to do? What would you do? How am I supposed to see you? Am I supposed to walk you out of the stadium with arm in arm after you sock me in the face for no reason? Or am I supposed to think, hey, that guy's dangerous. Hey guys, hey people, watch out for that guy. He's dangerous. You see what I'm saying? So on some level, you have to be willing to call the plays. Politicians, every election term or something, speak on things that are wrong with the place and what needs to be fixed. They're making a judgment based on something they're seeing, right? And they're comparing, right? They're comparing something good versus bad. So we can use those words interchangeably. And yes, they're subjective, but yeah, in some situations, using the term good does apply or bad does apply, right? A mass murderer, not a good person necessarily, right? And I guess, you know, depending on how crazy you are, how you look at things, you may not think that a mass murderer is harmful or dangerous, but they really are, okay? Not until your loved ones get hurt do you see this. So what I want people to understand is that some of the stuff that you learn, you have to be willing to make your own assessments in life. Yes, some of these things are great directives. They're great guide points. But when you really get into the meat and potatoes of the situation, when you're dealing with that boss, right, who's 2 seconds away from firing you for no reason because they have narcissistic tendencies, or when they stalk you on your lunch break, or when they freaking call you at home on your day off, or when you're sick just to find out what you're doing because they feel like they own you. These are not good characteristics, are they? You see? In many, many ways, we see the worst in people, and you know, those of us who are trying to find spiritual enlightenment, we may get tangled up on our ability to rationalize if these people are harmful to us, because we're thinking, well, there's something wrong with me if I'm thinking there's something wrong with this person, right? You go to the repair shop and, you know, your mechanic, you know, knocks out an extra, you know, thing on your car or something and charges you for that. Is that fair to you? Is that a good thing? Is that person being a good person? So you pay an extra $300 because someone was being greedy. You understand what I'm saying? And every way you look at this, it comes down to the culprit, who is another person, just like you, who really is not grounded and has some psychological problems. So they're the crazy folks, right? So I'm crazy because I believe that the guy who planted bugs at, my little cottage, I'm supposed to believe that something's wrong with me because I'm seeing every type of roach in the world, from American to Chinese or something, and they're all in one spot, and I'm supposed to believe that, they were already there. Never had roaches, never saw them, anything. And then as soon as this guy comes and shows up, I have all of these problems over the next series of days after his visit. You see? So I don't know. Maybe it was just the stroke of luck or something, or where you want to look at it, where I just so happened to be a situation, a coincidence, where I get these bugs, they show up from somewhere. But I'm just showing you folks that in many situations, the bad people of the world have to be defined as something. In order for us to stop what's going on, we have to identify it as a problem. See, if you're paying too much in taxes, you have to identify that the taxes are actually too high. So you're going to have to compare those taxes to something previous that was much lower than that. And why did it work? And what was the reasonable outcome or something? You have to look at everything for what it is. Don't take my word for it. Don't take anyone's word. Look at it for yourselves. And that's part of enlightenment, right? Looking within yourselves. Okay? But I see this so much, and I have to speak on it. I have great deals of respect for these people in the world. But I want you guys to understand, I don't want you going through your lives thinking that you can't defend yourselves, or thinking that, it's okay for someone to step on your toes or do something just because they felt like doing it, right? Even though karma would deal with those people in that moment, you have a choice to make, right? When I was growing up, I had a friend, and, we had these little motor scooters and stuff, and we had another friend who had one, and he never kept a job, didn't have enough money to buy his own. So what he would do is, he would come up to one of us and he would say, "Hey, can I borrow your battery out of your scooter so I can get around?" And you look at him like, if I give you my battery, how would I get to work, or how would I get around? You see what I'm saying? And so I'm showing you that person had the type of mind that was self-centered. They could care less about what I needed, or if I had something in my car, right? All they knew was that they had a need, they needed something, and I had something that they could get from. So it was literally that simple to them. And these are the people in life who are greedy. These are the people in life who overcharge you, overtax you, make you believe that the world that you're living in, paying all of these expenses, and the expenses keep growing, but your paychecks, keep dwindling, and they're expecting you to survive. You're thinking, this is how the world is. It's not. It shouldn't be like that, because we're going to compare. See, we're going to compare how the world could be versus how it is right now. So we're going to make a judgment and an assessment of our current situation. And that's what this is about, right? You're not going to hear me say, "Oh, well, those people are okay for being greedy and overcharging people and stealing from people and stuff. And, it's just how I deal with it." It is how I deal with it. That's true. That's why I told you, I agree with some of these points. But when you start talking about it's something wrong with you for seeing the problem, for seeing that the taxes are too high, or for seeing that, that person unnecessarily harmed that person, or robbed them, or did something to them, and you pointed that out. That's why we have courthouses. That's why people get sentences and stuff, because someone did something, and there had to be some measure of justice in place to apply to that person as a standard, so the next person would say, and there are rules, there are cultural things, in some countries about how people do things. Respectable. It's for reasons. Everything is for a reason, folks. So it's not unreasonable, in my opinion, to see things and call, a spade a spade. If that's what you're dealing with, that's who you're dealing with. If you're the snake oil salesman, and I see you swindle my next door neighbors, when you come to my porch, I'm not going to really allow you in there. You get what I'm saying? You're not going to get far with me, because I'm going to see you for who you are. I'm going to make an assessment. Is that right? I don't know. But I know that in the end, it'll protect me from something you're trying to do to me because you simply want to do something to me. You see what I'm saying? So we have to learn how to see things for what they are actually, is what I'm going to say. So I'm not going to talk too much longer. I love bad behavior. And I love critical thinking because critical thinking, you know, is one taking all of the things and sticking them on the table and assessing everything carefully before you make a decision, right? But understanding also within making that decision is that it's probably the best thing for you, right? And looking inward is how you came to that conclusion for you, right? If you don't have a dime in your pocket, right, and you're driving your car and you're about to run out of gas, okay, and someone gave you $10, and you were on your way to the pump and you were about to pull up, and someone came up to you and said, "Hey, I need $9.75. Is it right if you say, "Well, I don't have it right now"? You see what I mean? Because you have to go to work tomorrow. You know, you don't know what that person's going to do with that money. They could take that money and go blow it. And then you're scrambling trying to figure out something. So I'm just trying to show you on so many levels that, you know, it's not really about thinking that you're doing something or disservice to someone by turning them down or not allowing them to take advantage of you. Because the people of the world who do the bad, that's all they do is take advantage. And that's how they live. They operate like that. And we don't call those people out enough. You guys go over to my website, thinkbehavior.info, pick up my book, I Love Bad Behavior. And you can pick it up on Amazon as well. Thanks for sharing, and subscribing to the channel. And I really appreciate the new subscriptions and the comments as well. And you guys have a good day, okay? But just remember that, right? You don't have to put up with someone because you're on a path of enlightenment and you feel like, well, if this guy wants to karate kick me in my face, I should just stand there and, you know, stick my teeth out and let him just knock him out because he wants to do it and let off some pressure. Doesn't make any logical sense, right? You're not going to go around in your life harming people, but you're also going to protect yourself, right? And there's a time and place for everything, and sometimes these things are appropriate. All right, folks, you have a good day, and I'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.